Good evening, everyone, and welcome you all to Azure Cloud Street 5.0. I'm Lakshna Kugaraj, and I'll be your host for today. I'm really honored to welcome you all on behalf of MS Club of SLIIT. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. By joining us this evening to enhance your knowledge on your path to glory, we are all thrilled to have you here today. So without further ado, let's just get started with our session. Serverless.NET 6 with Azure Functions will be the opening session for tonight. Hansamali Gamage, an experienced professional in the .NET stack and Azure, as well as an MVP in Azure and Microsoft certified trainer, will lead this session. She's a frequent speaker at IT events, a Microsoft TechNet award-winning writer, and the author of a book on Azure Functions with Cosmos DB. She's currently employed at CAMMS as the technical lead. Over to you, Ms. Hansamali.
Thank you, Lakshana. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen, Hanswan.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll get started. So in today's session, I will be talking about .NET 6 compatibility with these Azure functions. I hope you guys have some experience on .NET Stack, .NET Framework, and .NET Core. And also you have some Azure free subscriptions to just try out these examples, since you guys are from universities. So with your university identification numbers, you will be able to get Azure free subscriptions to try out these awesome features. So if I tell you something about myself, I'm a product from SLIIT. So I got got started at 2009 and got graduated from 2012. So I work as a technical lead in CAMS. So I have some experience in the .NET Stack and Azure. I'm a Microsoft valuable professional in Azure, and also I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. So that's about me. In my personal life, I have a 3 years old boy. Uh, and my husband is also working in this IT industry, so it's really helpful for us to work into these community activities with uh, the the work that we are doing. uh, and I hope you guys, even though with this the situation with the COVID and this prevailing situation in our country, we can't actually host these physical meetups. So that's a very sad thing. But even though the time is flying, so we have to focus on um, the things that we are going to learn, and we have to grab whatever the knowledge, and we have to get the experience in this latest technology stacks available in the world. So it's open, even though with this COVID and the many economic crises and the political situations happen throughout this world. The the companies like Microsoft, maybe if we get uh, the AWS site, or maybe the Apple, they haven't stopped doing what they are doing in day-to-day life. They have they are releasing their product, they are introducing new features and the stuff. So we also have to get going. Okay, so we'll come to the session. uh, so I hope you guys have some understanding about the .NET framework. So in .NET framework, the latest version we have now is like .NET framework 4.8, and then after some time, like maybe somewhere around 2016, Microsoft, before 2016, Microsoft was so coupled to this Windows operating system, and they just thought, okay, if if our applications, if our products can only target Windows based clients and Windows, the people, the coders or the programmers, engineers who is working in the Windows operating system, so that will be great. And that was their slogan. They will only support Windows operating system and their office packages. If we take the Visual Studio ID as programmers we are using, and this we take the Azure cloud platform they own, they only focused on this Windows, the only one operating system that they have, that's Windows. But like 2017 or 16 onwards, they started like hiring people like this Hanselman and the people who were work who were working on these open source communities in open source areas like the Linux and the stuff. Then they thought, okay, we want to like go into a broader audience, like people who are not using Windows and people who don't like Windows. They want to they want to take their attention as well. So because of that, they thought like, okay, let's go more into this open source side without having these like licensed subscription based the things that you have to pay and get. Without going to that features, they are there for the people who can afford, but for they have the community editions and the free versions. Then the students or maybe the small companies like startups can use. So they thought in that angle, and they could get the attention from the Linux and from the people who are more like to spend their time on Apple products. They could get that attention because of this .NET Core. And also there was a saying in those days like 2016 17, .NET framework or the .NET the platform was not very good for like performance critical applications, like to handle the stock market kind of events, to like to develop games. So they were like specific operating systems, the like the like proud programmers or the proud engineers, they like only the Linux or the Fedora, kind of uh, uh, those kind of operating system. They didn't like Windows. They thought like it's only for the like business users, people who use only that office packages, the Word, PowerPoint and Excel. So they used to work on the terminal. They don't want to have that kind of extensive and feature wise rich IDs. They wanted to stick into that terminal and just like a minimal IDE. But the Microsoft also grab those the feedback or maybe that mentality of those engineers, and they came up with Visual Studio Code as well. That's like open source. So for the Angular developers, for the Node.js, for the even Java, they can use that IDE without any problems. And also a result of that, .NET Core was also released somewhere around 2016. They first released .NET Core 1, 2, and then we had .NET Core 3.1 as well. After .NET Core 3.1, they have decided, okay, now they had like two parts. .NET Framework, they released like .NET Framework 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.7, 4.8. From the .NET Core side, started with .NET Core 1, 2, 3, 3.1. Then they tried to merge these two parts with .NET 5, and the last November we had .NET 6. So now they are trying to like merge this .NET framework and .NET Core two parts. If I so if you guys ask me if I'm going to start a new project with only like with this, whether to go with .NET framework or .NET Core, uh, it's actually can't say you have to stick into the .NET Core or the .NET 6 or the latest the framework that we are having, it's based on the features. For a normal, some applications requires that, like gaming application, like mission critical the intensive graphical application, it's maybe better to go with .NET framework. Uh, for a normal application, normal means it's not like kind of a graphical intensive application, then they can stick with .NET Core. Now it's .NET 6. So we can't say like all of the features that they have released and developed in .NET framework, it's available in .NET Core, .NET 6, but most of the features, like 95% of features will be, it's there in the .NET 6 or the .NET 5. So that's the bit of kind of a history with .NET uh, .NET era, so .NET framework and the .NET Core. So now most of the times when you are going for a job interview or when you are starting a project, people likes to start with this latest technology stack. In the .NET side, it's .NET 6. So if I tell you about this, what is this Azure? So when I was a student in SLIIT, so in 2009 and 10, like we used to deploy our applications in a server. Server, it's also a computer, so it's a like high-end computer with a good memory, good RAM, and also good storage. It's just a advanced version of uh, personal computer that we are using. So in there, in a server, so if we develop Windows application, so Windows application means you are generating an executable file, exe. So if you are going to install that, let's say in your company you are developing a payroll application, that's a Windows application. So for your client, they have 4 machines, so you have to install that exe. It's kind of you can say, you can think it's like a virus scanner. So you have to install a copy of that software into each of that client's machine. So people think, okay, so that's also a problem. So you can't, like for the deployments, it takes like huge time. So because of that, they came up with this. So in those times, had internet, and they know about this World Wide Web. So they thought, okay, if we can develop websites or web applications, the same thing that we have uh, deployed or we have installed using the exe, if we can put those, if we can deploy, we can copy and paste those DLLs into a one machine. So from that one machine, that will be named as server. From that one machine, if the clients who is in the Goal, who is in Colombo, who is in Netherlands, can access that the application through this internet. It was like all connected in everywhere. So they can connect to the internet, and they can access the files from the location that you have deployed, that you have pasted. So then that came up with the term as web application or the websites. So so people used to, in my first company also, we used to like copy and paste the DLLs that built from the Visual Studio. We copy and pasted that into a machine. So that was the server. So from anywhere in your wherever your clients are, they can access to your application through this internet. So that was web application. In there, people use that for like maybe few years. Always people are not getting satisfied with any product, right? Any feature. So they thought that's also a mess. So when there are like huge number of requests come into let's say now you have deployed a website, let's say that's Pizza Hut website. So in there you have a huge number of sales in December. So for that time you have like 10,000 customers are trying to access your website within the 1 hour. But for the other months, there's no kind of traffic like that. It's like 1,000 customers trying to access your website for hour. So there was a request throttling happened in the peak time, in a peak month, right? In December, like seasonal month. So they thought, okay, so for the December, I have to purchase this much of RAM, this much of storage to store the files and store the logs or some kind of for the space. So they thought that's also a problem. So infrastructure wise, that was a problem. Then they at that time they had these cloud platforms like Azure, AWS, IBM Watson, Google Cloud. They had these kind of the platforms. They just I'm telling I have some DLLs. Can you host that for me? And can you handle that infrastructure for me? Only for December I want to like have this much of space. For the other 11 months you can reduce that. I will pay like for a month I will pay $10 for the 11 months. For the December you have to pay like $50 because you have huge amount of requests coming to your site. So you have to serve them without any delay or without making wait your clients. So that kind of a agreement was there with the cloud vendors. So that was like infrastructure was given from the cloud vendors. So you are providing your DLLs and hosting it on there. So you know about these GoDaddy and those cloud providers was there. So you can host your private sites. So that was that era. Then that was the virtual machine. So you can get a virtual machine and you can increase and decrease your capacity based on the request, based on the demand, and you can do your job and pay the dollars as per your usage. Then infrastructure as a service was there, then platform as a service there, and software as a service is also now available. All these three options are available uh, in these cloud vendors. So now then we have at the time being we have Azure, or we have app services, something called app services in Azure. So you can host your web application as a app service. So your the audience will get served and based with the Azure portal with kind of a dashboard, you can decrease and increase the memory capacity and everything. And only for that the usage of that site you will be getting, you have to pay. Then this Azure functions means, so why these people came up with Azure functions means, let's say uh, you want to send an email to your clients on at the end of each month. So for that you want to have an email service, email generation service. In earlier, when we used to deploy our applications in on-premises server, we used to create a Windows service. We used to create a Windows service and did that. But with these cloud vendors and cloud platforms, we have option called Azure Functions. So the beauty of Azure Functions is, so only for one day, you will be sending these emails. This email service will be starting and doing his work only for a one day. For the other 29 days, you don't have to pay. You don't have to have a host running for those 29 days, right? That's no point of doing that. only for 30th of every month that host will be up and doing his work and will be offline, will be down. So that's the beauty of Azure functions. Okay.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Madam, are you going through the slides or are you just sharing the first slide?
it's still in the first slide.
Oh, okay, okay. I was just curious about it. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will move to my next slide. Okay, so we have these Azure functions. So if I say about these Azure functions, in this Azure functions, I told you this is Azure functions. We can call the Azure functions on demand when you requires, and that code will be running and give you the result. So that's why we say this is a like serverless platform in Azure. Azure Functions belongs to the serverless platform in Azure because it doesn't have to have a server. It will come on and it will do his job and go off. The same feature available in Azure in serverless categories logic apps. In apps also, you don't have to have a server to perform these operations. So in these Azure functions, uh, it's event driven. Event driven means when some event occurs only it will be up and do his work. We can send kind of a HTTP request. I want to send a mail. So regard with that HTTP request, your function will be come online and do his job. And also we have queue triggers. So in Azure, there are some storages. You know this database as the databases we are taking as storages. You have like this SQL Server databases can be hosted in Azure. So normally we have some on-prem machine or your local machine, or if you want to deploy your databases into on-prem machine, you can do that. But for in Azure side also, you can host your databases inside Azure. Also, there are some other storage techniques available like blobs and queues and tables. Blobs means in blobs you can save your like maybe your files, your images as blobs in Azure. And also let's say you have the same Pizza Hut web application, so you have multiple you are getting multiple orders, so you want to like position these orders with a particular order, so you can use a queue for that. So you have these queues as well in Azure, and also table storage also there. So so you can find these based on these events that occurs in a blob. So if you are getting some new file uploaded into your blob storage, then you can make a trigger to that with Azure functions. That's blob trigger. You have some blob storage, and for that blob storage you are uploading some document. Based on that document, that event, so function will get triggered and do some analysis on that uploaded the image. And also queues. So the same Pizza Hut application, you are getting a call from a customer and you are logging that request. I want this kind of pizza to this and that. So then you will be adding a queue item in the queue storage. So based on that new item, that trigger, your Azure function will get triggered and run. The same like that, you have database triggers as Cosmos DB trigger as well. It's not the triggers in the SQL Server database. So in SQL databases, you know you can handle only relational type of data. It's like employees and departments. You have a relationship between two one employee is allocated for a one department. In a department, you have multiple employees. So this kind of data, they have connected with this a kind of a relationship, and you know about this normalization as well, right? In you have some data structure. In there you can normalize these data into first level, second level, third level, kind of. You can have normalization. Why you are normalizing this data? It's to it's to have this fast inserts, right? You can so if not, you are going to if you are going to store all these employee and department data in a one table, so that's going to be a problem, right? Let's say your department uh, address is getting changed, and in that department you have 100 employees. So you have to, if you have in that in a one table, then that means 100 records. So you have to update everything in there. So that's a problem. So that's why you are like normalizing these data into two different tables. That's for the fast inserts and fast updates. But for the retrievals, you have to join these two tables in order to get the department name and department addresses. With the employee table, you may have to get employees department details. You have to uh, do some joins and get the response. For that, for the joins, you know, it's going to have a query, join query, and for that join query you have a query execution path. For that, in order to achieve optimal performance, in order to write the optimal query, you have to think about the query execution plan and everything. You have to think about the where clause, the join clause. Everything is there with normalization. That's the maybe the disadvantages. uh, it's not fast retrievals, it's faster for the updates. This is the general term, right? You can uh, with your business requirements, that's going to change. But because of that, there are some applications that requires fast retrievals. So that's why people are not like to come to this relational kind of database. So they are going for the non-relational databases like NoSQL databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, kind of databases. So those databases, Microsoft didn't say we only support relational databases, we are not supporting non-relational. So if they say that, the MongoDB lovers will not come to Azure, right? So they say, yeah, we have Cosmos DB for that. So they have this Cosmos DB. So in there, they can inside Cosmos DB, they can host their MongoDB, Cassandra DB, and also they can create their own non-relational database. That's document-based databases. That's for the fast retrievals. They don't want to have these joins. But for the insertions, it's going to be a bit difficult. So because of that, for a one application, in some parts, they want to have this relationship, they want to have these fast retrievals. Let's say the same Pizza Hut application, they want to, when I'm going to log into the Pizza Hut, then the menu is going to load for like 2 minutes. I'm not going to wait in there. I will be trying out with Domino's or somewhere else, right? For Pizza Hut kind of maybe shopping cart application, the product catalog needs to be shown faster, right? So for the fast retrievals, for your application, you can have set of data in a document database. So your menu related item, let's say the item name, description, the ingredients, and the price for that, if there are any discounts applicable for that based on this privileged customers, based on the offers for weekends kind of stuff. You can store all of that in the same document, in the same record, the same document. We don't have tables in there, no? But if we think about that in terms of relational databases, if you want to store that one item of pizza, that one item in the Pizza Hut, so you have to go with multiple tables. You have to have this item number, description and ingredients, and for the discount related promotion kind of information, you have to have a separate database, separate table, right? So that's the relational way of thinking. But for the in order to show the menu, the catalog, so it takes time because of these joins. But if you are going with the document database, it's just matter of retrieving from a one document, from a one record. So for a part of application, you want to have this document based, non-relational based data structure. For a part of application, like if you want to handle these the invoice and invoice lines, those kind of stuff, order processing, for that you have to have this relational databases, because you want to have fast inserts as well. So because of that, in some applications, we have a relational database goes with SQL Server, another document database that goes with MongoDB, or that goes with that has been hosted in a document database supported platform, like supported service like Cosmos DB. So this is like a hybrid model. Fast retrievals, then you have to go to the document database. Fast inserts, you have to go to the relational database. This is like we have the term like polyglot persistence. So we have this hybrid model. So that's about this the DB trigger. In terms of DB trigger, we talked about Cosmos DB trigger as well. So in Cosmos DB trigger, once a document is uploaded, once a record is created or modified, this function will get triggered. And also, as I told you, this is a critical feature for an application. You want to scale up and down based on this number of requests and the demand from the client. So that's available with this cloud services, not only for the Azure functions. And we have web jobs as well. So we have something called web jobs as well, Azure web jobs. That's also doing something like a Windows service. So in earlier we had Windows services, no, in on-prem application. So you are creating a Windows service and deployed in a server. So that server, you can put a timer at 9 p.m. every day. You have to send this mail. So you could have that kind of services in on-prem. In cloud world, you have with Azure, you have Azure functions and Azure web jobs. So what is this Azure web jobs, and what is the difference between Azure functions and Azure web jobs? In Azure functions, it's a separate container. It's a separate serverless environment. But Azure web jobs, if you are deploying your website or web application as app service, along with that app service, you can deploy your Azure web job as well. But Azure functions is decoupled from your app service. That's available separately. So if you want to scale up and down these the functionality of sending the email separately, so you have to go with Azure functions, because in Azure, if you are deploy that as a Azure web job, you can't scale up and down it like Azure functions, because you have to scale up your whole app service, the container that you are used to deploy your web job plus your application, your website or the web application. So because of that, if you want to decouple these solution as separately, to separate two containers, you have to go with Azure Functions. If not, Azure Web Job is easier. You don't have to maintain two deployments. And also, so you have separate plans to host these Azure functions. You can go with these consumption plans. In consumption plans, you have free millions of execution for these function requests. You can deploy your function app for a millions of executions. It's free. You are paying on, even though you have to pay, you are paying only for the computational power and the storage of the Azure function. Computational power means you are getting some request, HTTP request, or for your blobs, you are getting a new file uploaded. For that, in that particular time frame, your function will be up and do his job and will go offline only for that time. If it takes 1 minute, then only for that 1 minute your computational resources are getting uh, wasted, right? So in there, only for that time you have to pay. So that's the good one of the good feature of this Azure functions. So you have to pay only when you used it, for the computational power and for the storage. Okay, so the recent updates you have with Azure functions, actually these slides I got from the Microsoft build, the same session that this function app guys were doing about this .NET 6 and Azure functions. So in this year also you will be having this Microsoft build. Actually, when I was a student at SLIIT, I didn't know about these meetups and these community events, and also these Microsoft free materials. They are hosting Microsoft Ignite and Microsoft Build in November to release their products and to release their new features. Last year November they announced .NET 6. With the .NET 6 and .NET 6, they have a separate team working on .NET 6 Azure functions as well. So that's what's their update. So for your applications, for your clients, so you have to have great resiliency. That means if your clients don't like to down their website, so web application for a maintenance, for some database backups application, this move in here and there, and for a releases, for the patches, to apply patches. So they want to have this zero downtime. So with multiple availability zones in this .NET 6 Azure functions, they have this feature with zero downtime with great resiliency. In Azure functions, in Azure we have Azure functions version 1, 2. With .NET 6, they released Azure functions version 4. And also this open API extension is also there. That's generally available. That's the GA means. Basically in Microsoft, when they are going to release some features, it will just they will just release a feature with beta version, some beta versions, maybe beta 1, beta 2. Then they will be saying this is beta 1, beta 2. Then they will achieve it on the preview mode. So these features are on preview mode, you can use it. Then after doing some trials, after getting some feedback from the people who are using it actually, and based on the number of bugs, not only in our softwares, in their softwares also, they have bugs. So based on those things, they are thinking now, okay, are we going to push these preview features into GA, generally available release? So with that, they will be telling, okay, this feature is generally available, but they can't skip the headline. Sometimes we can, because for November, they will be releasing some .NET new framework. So that's the kind of a rule in there. So this durable function, so that's still in preview. So this durable functions means something like this. So let's say you have a one function. So in that function, you are going to check whether some let's say check whether some items are available in your inventory. So let's say you got a order in your, maybe let's say you have some online shopping portal. So you got a order to maybe let's say the famous items these days in Sri Lanka is like solar panels. So I will say solar panel. So you got a in your shopping cart in your online shopping portal, you got a request. I want to have 2 solar panels delivered to Colombo. So in the first function name, first chunk of code, you are going to check whether these 2 solar panels with the required maybe the brand. So they are, is it available or in the inventory? So if it's not available, you can't deliver the order. No? So as the in the first function, it's going to check whether these items are available. So if those are available, your second function will be up and it will be picked where in your maybe in your stores you have some warehouses in your company, in your client's company, in gold, in candy and in trinco. So the required solar panels, one is available in gold and other one is available in trinco. So in order to find where these solar panels are available, the second function will come on and he will be searching where these 2 panels, 2 items are available. So they are available in 2 different warehouses. So if it's available in these 2, they are going, second function's responsibility is to find where these panels are available. And for the third function, it will be sending order to these 2 warehouses and getting them. And the fourth function's job is to come up and get these the items, collect these items and deliver this to the client, to the customer in Colombo. So those are the 4 functions, right? We don't want to write this all this logic in the one function, right? If these items are available only, it will go into the another. If that items are available only, it goes to that if bracket, right? The chunk of code that has written inside the if block. So that can be delivered to one separate function. So those 4 functions are hosted separately in Azure functions. So those, you need to have an orchestrator for these one. So if these items are available, call to. If these items are not available, send a response to client, these items are not available. So this kind of orchestration you require. So for this kind of orchestration, for this kind of to run these multiple functions, you want to go with this durable functions framework. So in durable functions, you even though you have multiple functions, you are using this same storage. Maybe you are using the same queue storage. Your request comes, that's inserted into one item in the queue, and from that queue it checks the serial number, it identifies one is available in gold, the second one is available in trinco, and the third function comes and he sends a like a telegram, he sends a request to warehouse officer in trinco, I want to get this serial number, uh, the solar panel with the serial number to this place. So likewise, they are using the same storage. So that's the job of a durable function. So this you can use this Microsoft SQL database also as the storage for these durable functions. And you know about these microservices as well. Lot of companies, lot of clients requires to do that. These microservices in an application. Let's say you have like 20 people in a team. you have 15 developers. So that's a tedious task to manage the team, right? You are telling, okay, I pushed some code, but yesterday, but it's broken today because of your team. You did some mistake and this and that. So you can't develop multiple features in a one single repository, one single branch. You have so many problems. And also when you are trying to deploy your application, you have to down your application for a 1 hour to do the deployment. So that's a problem to your clients. But if you have this chunk of codes developed in separate services, so you can down only one service. So that one service is, you can view the menu, but maybe you can't order a item, but within 2-3 minutes it will be up. So no problem to clients, right? They don't have to down their application for a 1 hour. So they are happy with that implementation. So that's why people are going for these microservices, but it has some pros and cons. You have you for a one service, it should stick with the one database. So one data storage for that. That means the second service needs to, the second service needs to get the data that first service committed to that storage. They have to have some kind of a communication, some kind of a synchronization. For that you have to uh, you have to get some kind of orchestrator. So there are things like that, but people like to go to these microservices these days because of these mission critical application. It's like the applications they need with zero downtime, because people don't have actually patience. Right, those days it was not like that. They were waiting the banking applications, or maybe some application, they are waiting until for a 1 hour. Okay, the deployment, once the deployment is over, I can do my job. But people don't have patience, and because of the increase in demand and everything is on online, we can't wait for 1 hour without ordering pizza. Right. So because of that, because of these the changes, and also of course with the COVID situation, uh, the the IT industry has expanded. Everything is there in the internet. So most of the people who were not thinking comes into this comes into come and do these applications and host their softwares and the things to do these analysis. They have come to the in terms, okay, we have to go and install a software for that. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so as I told you earlier, so we have these updates to these popular extensions available. So I talked about these blobs and queues, blob trigger and queues trigger. So we have new SDKs. So it supports this identity based connection. So we don't in there we in a application, for a function app also we have this connection string and see some secrets. So but without going that, we can have that identity based connections in this new Azure Functions version 4. And this Azure Web Pub Sub means you can, publish a subscriber architecture. You can push some data and your subscribers will get that notification and they can work based on that. So in real time. So this Pub Sub is real time. So you can send these response to these messages in real time. It's more like WebSocket. So this PubSub, Azure Web PubSub is like more like serverless WebSockets. And also this .NET 6 support for these Azure functions also ready for the production application. So these are the Azure functions with .NET integration. So we had some at first we had some in process Azure functions. We could only host our Azure functions inside the .NET process. So we have a host, a function host that runs inside this .NET process. So for a JavaScript function, it runs in a node process. In a .NET host, if you are using .NET host to deploy your Azure function, it's tightly coupled to this .NET version you are using. It's 3.1. So they identified this as a problem. Then they came up with this isolated process. So this .NET 5 had this isolated mode. It's decoupled from this host from the function. So it's same as the other in TypeScript. It's also the same. So this is more faster. Isolated process is more faster. It's not coupled with the .NET version and it's independent. So with .NET 6, so they have with .NET 6, okay, I will cater in process and isolated process both. That's the slogan of .NET 6. And also this LTS means it's long-term support. So the support will be there for isolated process and in process for like more than 3 years. Then so even though this world is going up and down and this and that, .NET 7 will be there by this year, November. So .NET 7 will be there in this year and .NET 8 also will be released in 2023. It's like strict deadline for Microsoft developers. Okay. So yeah. So this is something that if you are going to use these, if you are going to use .NET Core 3.1, so in process edition, so you don't have a good support for the durable functions. So so if you want to go with .NET Core 3.1, that's better not to go with in process. You can start with isolated process with .NET 5, and durable function is not there for the isolated process. It will be coming with this .NET 6 as described here. Sorry, yeah, .NET 6. It has isolated and in process both. Okay, it's time for the demo. So I will start my Visual Studio. Okay, this is application I have created, but I will try to create one again. I hope you guys have Visual Studio 2022 in your machines. So yeah, that's here. So I will create a new project. So you have these project templates. So you can select Azure from here. And as I mentioned, you have Azure Web Jobs as well, Azure Web Jobs for our .NET framework from C#, and this is for VB. And I will go with Azure Functions and click on Next. And I will create this application as salary calculator. Oh, I will click create. So you can see the available templates to create these Azure functions. You can start with empty or HTTP trigger. And this HTTP trigger with Open API support. So with HTTP trigger with Open API, that's a good choice if you want to have these microservices. And you can go with Q trigger, blob trigger, this timer trigger. Only every 30th of this month I want to run this. So timer trigger, and this durable function orchestration, as I mentioned you earlier, to have these multiple, to have these 4 functions to do this orchestration part. So likewise, you have so many triggers there, Cosmos DB trigger, so many things. So I will go with the basic one, that's HTTP trigger. So you want to have a storage account. So yeah, you want to have the storage account to create just even just to create a HTTP trigger function, because you want to have host this the space to host this one, and also to store the log files. So you have to have a storage account, and you can provide authorization level. I will go with anonymous and click on create. It will be getting created. Uh, okay, so this is the function I we have just created. I hope you can see the screen with the increased font. Seems it's fine for me. If you can't see this, and if I want to increase the font, let me know. So we'll first build this one. Okay, success. So this is a HTTP trigger function. So for that, we can change the function name. Let's say I will rename this to something like, okay, let's say this is my salary calculator. And you can provide a function name, calculate salary. And in IT industry, thanks to the that we are working for foreign clients, we are getting the pegged salary in this the different situation in Sri Lanka. So we are actually so excited. What is the base rate? What is the rate we are getting for this month, day by day? So that's why I came up with this kind of a demonstration for you guys. So you can see the template. This is the run method. That's the main method. That's the first the entry point for this method to the HTTP trigger. And if you hover over this one, so you will be able to find this. What are these? So if I go into this HTTP trigger, so you can pass these things in there, the authorization level, and what are the the methods, the HTTP methods to allow. So I will go back. So this is the anonymous, and we can pass the methods, and this is the request, and this is the logs. So you want to have these function logs. For that, you want to have the storage account. So it's going to get this get this input from the request and do something, and it generates this OK object result with this message. So if I go to this local settings JSON, so this is the Azure Web Job Storage account for the development purpose. If you want to have a separate storage account, you can pass that storage information here. So this is the host we are going to have, and if I go here to the solution, you can see we are using the .NET 6 framework, and the function version is version 4. Okay, so this is the things in here. So if I just run this debug, start without debugging, you will be seeing this kind of a terminal will be open and it says it's running. So it will be showing me this URL. So I will go edit, copy, and I will go here and paste this one. And it shows me a message from here. You have to pass a name in the query string or in the request body for a personalized response. So you have to pass a name in the request with the name. So I want to pass a parameter called name, and I will say Azure Cloud 3.0. Then you will be getting this message. Okay, that's just the very small sample that I have created, but I just created few things in there for you guys. So instead of these, I will be getting this rate and the same thing, just the parameter name is different. So I will be getting a response message. So I will run this one. It will tell me this file is locked. So now it's working. So name is not there. So I will pass the rate as like 250.89. So it gets it. I can see this message. So I will try to publish this one to Azure. So this is my Azure portal. You can see it correctly. Okay, this is my Azure portal. So I will try to publish this one. So in the Solution Explorer, so you can click on this project and click on publish. So in there, you have the option to publish this into a folder, into a container registry. You have in Azure function container registry as well. Or else you can get the profile of a deployed application. So this is my deployed application. One of my deployed applications. So I will try to go into there and try to find the profile, because we have option to import the published profile. Right, hope it will load. Seems like it's taking time. So I will go with Azure and click on next. So you have the option to deploy this to container registry or the Azure function app container. So your Azure function will be deployed as it's as a image in the Docker image. So you can deploy this into a Linux environment or Windows. So I will go with Windows and click on next. And you have to provide your a Microsoft account for this one. I think I will try to log in again. Yeah, here you can get the publish profile from here. If you click on the publish profile, you will be getting the publish profile. So here, oh, try to notepad. So you have this XML structure of data with what is the URL you want to publish this and that. So from here you can give the publish profile and publish to the same location. So I will try to log into my account. Hope this works without any issue. Seems fine to me. Okay, seems okay. Since I have multiple subscriptions, sometimes it's going to be a pain. I will try to log into this account. And so yeah, this is the correct account. So first you have to create a resource group. For that you can create a resource group from here. First you have the opportunity to provide a name for this application. So I will, this one is salary calculator, so this one I will say salary calculator 1. And you have to provide your subscription name and this resource group. Resource group is like more like a folder in your Windows operating system. So you are going to deploy all your databases, all your applications, function apps, Cosmos DB, your blob storage, this and that, everything into one container, one folder. So I will say this is a salary data 1 and okay. And you can select the you want to go for the consumption plan or the premium plan or just app service plan. So I will go with the consumption plan. It has some free requests you can use. So I will go with Southeast Asia, and you can have create your Azure storage account if you want. So I will say salary calculator 1. I want that to be give me a minute. I got the power cut unfortunately on time. So I will share my other screen. Okay. Yeah. So I will select this one as Southeast Asia, and the account type I will say standard, and I will click on OK. Hope I got the details here. Let me check again. I will say next. I got the correct account. This is a different account. So it seems this is the old function app. I will try to create a new one quickly. The one. I will create a new resource group, consumption, Southeast Asia, and this storage. Okay, should be lowercase. And I will select Southeast Asia. This is seems I have to enter my credentials to do the publish. Think yeah, I will go with the deployed application. If not, I am wasting time. So if I go to my homes, my the available resources here. So you can see this function app that I have here. So you can create a function app from here. So you can say function app, and you can create a function app and provide that function app from the Visual Studio publish here. Or else you can on the fly from the Visual Studio, you can create your resource group, storage account, everything. So if I go to this all resources, so this salary calculator, if I go to this place and try to find my resource group, this is the resource group. So inside that resource group, you can see you have my function app and the storage account and this the app service plan I have created. So let's go inside the function app. So we have these functions. So first of all, I will go here and you can find this URL for this one. The function app site, just Azure websites.net, same as the app service or API application you are hosting on Azure, and the app service plan and the subscription and everything. So this is a sample application I created yesterday. So you can find this the memory log that how it has been gone from yesterday. So here we have these functions, and also I will go to the app keys. So you can find these the keys that's available. If you want to have maybe a storage account or some database connection string, you can provide those information here. The same things that's available in your the settings JSON file. So you can go to these functions here, and I have one function. So that's HTTP trigger. So I will click on this one. So in there you can go here and find this information. So you can go to the code and test. Here you can have a test. You can see a testing environment, and you can find this the deployed application, the bindings that you have used, that's HTTP trigger, and you have anonymous authorization level, and you are getting a parameter called REQ. So that's there in this. In here, this is the HTTP trigger input parameter we have. So this DLL, the script files, and entry point is the run method. Those informations are here. You can say test and run. So you can go with get or post both. That's how we have written this, get and post. So you can say get and you can add the parameter. So the parameter is rate. I will say and run. So it will be running here. So you can see the HTTP response, and you can see the logs as well here. See, so you are now connected to this one and all. So this you can maximize this and identify any issues. So we'll minimize that one, and you can go with the post option as well. And also, okay, sorry. So get code and test. You can get the function URL from here as well. I hope I can take another 5 minutes. So you can get the function URL as well from here. So I will paste this one. You have to pass this. Yeah. So this will be acting as a API endpoint for the client application from your, maybe from a mobile application, from a web Angular web application. So you can use this API endpoint. So these functions that that's written in your function app. So in here you can have multiple functions, can be acting as microservices. So that's there. So this if I go to this storage account here, you can see this is the storage account, and these are the containers that to have these Azure uh, behind the scene, the Azure functions, they are using Azure Web Jobs. Okay, so for in order to store the log files, it's going to create these containers, and this is just a normal storage accounts in there. So you have queues, tables, so blobs as well. So yeah, that's all about the demonstration. So I will just share some information. So we have these uh, meetups, monthly meetups we had before Corona, the physical meetups in Microsoft Office, but due to this uh, the COVID situation, and also because of these power cuts and everything, we couldn't do these monthly meetups for a like long time in the Sri Lanka Developer Forum. So we have this Sri Lanka Developer Forum. We are going to talk about some technical topics in these forums for like mostly for like in end of Thursday for a month. So if you are not part of this community, please join that. So we can learn so many things from, you can learn so many things from the industry experts, and also from the fresh graduates, from the newcomers also we can learn something, so we can share our knowledge. So, and also we have this Women in Tech Sri Lanka forum that was also be disabled these times because of this COVID situation, and two of our speakers in the March meetup, we they got unfortunately they got suffered from this the COVID, and also because of these power cuts, we can't predict what is the time when we are like arranging these meetups. There were some interruptions, so we couldn't host a Women in Tech forum also for a long time. But if you have interest, so please join this group. So in Women in Tech forum, we are not going to talk about the technical stuff. We are just trying to improve this the girls and this industry, the ladies who are working in the industry, their soft skills, the presentation skills, the communication, and how to deal with clients and work life balance kind of stuff. So that's all about I wanted to talk. So we saw some questions. So we want to have a storage account for Azure functions and to create network file storage on Azure and connect that NF share to a server port. Network file storage, of course, you can share your files and you can store your files in Azure storage, and also from a URL you can access them. So usually if usually in application, let's say there's a so you want to maintain and manage your clients profile pictures, or maybe you have a sites that's your some service like Medium. So the people are going to log into your application and creating some posts with some images and attachments. So you want to have a place to store those attachments, so you can use this Azure storage, Azure blob storage. So you can upload these files into the Azure blob storage, and from a URL that can be accessible, that can be accessed through a web application or a mobile application. So if I understood the question correctly, so I think that you got the answer. The different authorization scope. So when we are trying to create our first the application, you saw we have function level, authorization, and anonymous and admin. And also this identity based authentication is available for Azure functions from this .NET 6 Azure function v4. So you can have that kind of authentication authorization process as well. So that's all about the session for today, and I want to have a that will be great if you could help me for this. So this is about me. So you can reach me through these channels: LinkedIn, Twitter, or my Gmail, and also my Facebook page as well. Not the Facebook page, my Facebook profile as well. So if you get something out of this session, I would like to hear your feedback for my speaker portfolio. So if you have a mobile phone and you have generate QR code reader application, you can please scan these QR code and please provide a feedback for me. So once when you are doing that, you will get the email notification to the registered email in there. Please go there and verify that you have done this rating, so it will be available in my speaker portfolio. So that will be a great help for me. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you. Actually, I'm very proud of doing that because I'm also from SLIIT. So thank you very much for this opportunity. So over to you then. I think we have an amazing speaker for the second session, Shivaani. So I think floor is yours if you don't have any more questions for me.
Miss Hansamali, thank you for your informative speech. This workshop has taught us a great deal. Thank you again, ma'am, for taking time out of your hectic schedule. Kindly note that you all will be getting a certificate for your participation. We will be sharing a link, so fill it up for your certificate details. Next up, let me introduce Shivaani Rajkumar, and a third year SC undergraduate and a software engineering intern at Pearson, Lanka, for the next session. She's going to brief us on detecting pneumonia using Azure Custom Vision. The screen is all yours, Shivaani.
Good evening all. I hope you all can see my screen and I'm audible. So I welcome you all to Azure CloudStreak 5.0. So today my topic is detecting pneumonia using Azure Custom Vision. Before moving to the topic, let me introduce myself. I'm Shivaani Rajkumar, software engineering undergraduate at SLIIT, also software engineering intern at Pearson, Lanka. First of all, we should know what is Azure Custom Vision. Let me read out the definition for you all. Azure Custom Vision is an image recognition service that lets you build, deploy, and improve your own image identifier models. Okay, now let's move to a simple example. Now think, in front of you, there are some food items like vegetables and fruits. Someone is asking to detect what are those. You can simply say, right, those are vegetables and those are fruits, like that. How your brain detect it, how your brain recognize it, because since your childhood, you have been trained with so many vegetables images, think vegetable images or fruit images or real food items, so many food items, right? So now think, you're going to a different country and looking at some different kind of food item. Someone is asking you, what is this? So you're telling this may be a fruit for 80%, otherwise it will be a vegetable. How your brain detect it? Because you know some common features of those food items, right? The colors, the shapes, the softness, the hardness of a vegetable, those kind of things, right? So with those kind of features, your brain will recognize what it can be. So if I read it again, Azure Custom Vision is an image recognition service that lets you build, deploy, and improve your own image identifier models. The same concept which I told in the example is being used in Azure Custom Vision as well. You can upload so many images, like for example, you can upload vegetable images, you can upload fruit images and train it. See, I have mentioned, like you have been trained from your childhood, right? Like that, you need to train Azure Custom Vision model, and then you can test with another new picture, right? So there are two services like classification and object detection. In classification, you can upload so many pictures in one image. There should be one object, right? In object detection, it's like if you have one image, there are so many objects inside it. Like if one image, there are some objects like car, a man, a vegetable, a fruit. So many objects are there. So it should detect what are the objects inside that image. Today we are going to do classification, which is we are going to upload some images. One image will have one object. So there are two links which are for Azure portal and for Custom Vision AI. Let me go through those portals. So if you go to Azure portal, it will ask you to sign in. You can sign in with your IT SLIIT email, and you can as SLIIT students, you will receive $100 credit subscription for 1 year period. With that credit, you can create resources and you can use many services. Like since there are many services provided by Microsoft Azure, sometimes you need to pay, right? You need to pay for some services. So those, so that $100 credit will help you to create resources and services. So here also we are going to create a resource. So what is a resource? If you're going to do a custom vision project, you need to create a resource, right? So when you fill that form, wait, I'll show. So here, if I type custom vision, here I have already created some resources. If I click create, they will ask to fill out a form like this. Okay, they will ask questions related to custom visions. What are the services you are going to use? What are the subscription, such as that $100 credit, as I have mentioned. So what are the subscription you are going to use, those kind of things. If you are going to use a Kubernetes service, you need to create a resource for use Kubernetes service. You can't use custom vision resource to that services. So here they are asking whether we are going to use prediction or training. We are going to do both because we are going to train with some images and we are going to test it. So here it has been selected that Azure for Students subscription. So here you can review and create it. So if I show you my resource, you can see like these numbers like 1, 2, 3 and on. So in one, like get the API key authenticate, I will tell you what is that later. So in number 2, try the service in Custom Vision portal. That's the link I have provided here. The second link, Custom Vision portal. If I click here like this, I will be moving to this user interface. This is where you will create project to train and test your models. Like when you go to this portal, it will also ask you to sign in. You can sign in using your SLIIT email address. Here, if I click to create a new project, I can enter like pneumonia testing or something. So here it will select the resource as prediction 123. As I have already mentioned, my resource name is prediction 123. So it will select it. So here, as I have already mentioned, I'm going to use classification here. Also here they are asking whether I'm going to use one tag for one image or multiple tags for one image. In this project, I'm going to use one tag for one image. Like if you are going to upload a vegetable image, you can put a tag like vegetable, right? So here in domains, you can use food or general or anything. If you're going to test with vegetables or foods, you can use food domain like that. So here I'm going to use general, so I can create that project. So another thing I want to tell is today's topic. So the IT related services are not restricted to IT industry, right? You all know that there are so many industries out there, like medicine industries, production industries, research field, marketing, architecture, those kind of so many fields are there. These IT related services will be helpful them to come up with better solutions, right? Today also we are going to detect pneumonia. You all know that pneumonia is a disease. Doctors normally ask patients to get x-rays and they will check whether that patient has pneumonia, right? Here also we are going to upload some x-ray images related to pneumonia affected person and a normal person, some normal person's x-ray images, and we are going to train and test with some new images. Let's test whether it works. So here, this is the project. We can have tagged images or untagged images. Here, you can simply add images. So if I go to this folder, you all can see that there are two folders for test and train. We are not going to test and train the same images. We are going to use different images for test and for training. So if I click train, there are two folders for normal and pneumonia. If I click pneumonia, and I randomly select 20 images, and for that I'm typing like pneumonia and I'm going to upload it. Okay, done. So for a normal person's x-ray, I'm again going to train folder and again normal folder and again selecting 20 random images and tagging it as normal. Okay, done. So here in the left panel, if you click normal tag, you can see all the pictures related to the normal tag. And if you select pneumonia tag, you can see all the extra images related to pneumonia affected persons. Here, now we are going to train. If I click this green button here, train, there are two types of train, quick training and advanced training. If you click advanced training, you can see like training budget 1 hour. That means if you take some medicine fields, they are not going to check with just 20 or 40 images. They will collect so many like 10,000, 20,000 images and research it again and again and come up with a best solution, right? So they will need some budget, they will need some time period, those kind of things. Today we are going with only 20 plus 20, 40 images. We are going to use quick training. So if I click train, we will be moving to performance tab. So here, after training, it will show us some precision level percentage and all. That's because think now you are looking at a picture and if it's not clear enough, can you predict what's inside the picture? No, right? So like that, if you want to train custom vision, we need to upload some clear images, right? Otherwise, the precision percentage will be low. So the results will be also less accurate, right? So those kind of things will happen here. So it will take some 2 to 3 minutes. So here, if you see quick test button near the train button, After training, we will be clicking quick test and uploading some images, the new images which we did not train, and we are going to predict. Here in this user interface, you are going to like clicking quick test and uploading images now. So think if you do not have that testing image in your PC, but you have that image hosted somewhere, you are having that link. Here we don't have any place to insert the input that link and check, right, whether that X-ray image has pneumonia or not. There is another reference page like Cognitive Services API reference page. Here there are so many APIs. I will show you one. Here you can see a post request quick test image URL. Here open API testing console. I will click this. Here what happens is it will ask for the wildcard segment, in the sense the resource name. That means the prediction 1, 2, 3, the resource name, and the project ID. Project ID means this is the project we are doing, right? If I go to settings, I will see the project ID, project related all the things with the project ID. So here again, it will ask for an iteration ID. Iteration ID means after training, it will give us a iteration training, ID. Here it will ask for a training key. This is where we use this API key. If I click this, you can see 2 keys, right? You can use one of these key to input here. After that, I hope you all are, most of you are familiar with JSON format. Here, the request body should be as JSON format. URL means, as I have mentioned, if you are not downloaded your that pneumonia patient's X-ray image, you can input just a URL, right? As I mentioned, if you search on Google, you can get a pneumonia person's X-ray image. You can put this URL here and do a post request. If you post it, it will respond like whether that person have pneumonia or not, whether it's a normal condition, as we mentioned in our tags, right? Pneumonia or normal. So here, this is the request URL. If you you can also do it with the Postman if you're familiar with. So this is the request. If we send it, it will work. So I think it's better to wait until it trains, then only we can check it. So I think it will take 1 minute. So and another thing is here, since we have a time limit, limited time limit, I only inserted only 20 plus 20, 40 images, but in real world, you need to search for so many images and train, then only you will get like the most accurate answer. I will show you whether it the percentage level is predicting. Yes. Can you see the precision level is 100%? That means we have inserted some pictures, clear pictures. So here you can see the iteration ID here. So we have inserted 20 for each tag. So if I go to quick test, I can browse local files. I need to go here and select X-ray. Here, I have selected a pneumonia affected person's X-ray. It's correctly detecting as pneumonia. That means 73%. As I have already mentioned, you need to uploading so many pictures will give us a accurate answer. That means if I have uploaded 500 or 600 images, it will 88% probability that will give like that. So let me check with the normal person's X-ray. Yeah, it's detecting as normal for 68%, the prediction level. So here we are using the user interface now. So if we have an API, so I have an image API here. So first we should enter the resource name, prediction. The project ID. If I go to settings, here you can find the project ID. Iteration ID, as I have already mentioned, we can take it here. For the training key, I'm selecting the key 1. Right. Here for the URL, I have already have an image URL posted. So here I am putting this instead of string. So here if we send it, here the response code is 200, that means okay. It's detecting, right? Can you remember we have inserted two tags, normal and pneumonia. This particular image is 0.5% normal and 0.5% pneumonia is detecting for up to some extent. So that's the thing I wanted to tell you all. So that's all for my topic. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for that enlightening speech. We all learned a lot from this session. On behalf of MS Club of SLIIT, I'd want to take a moment to thank all of the speakers. I'd also want to express my gratitude to all of the participants for their cooperation and support. Follow us on social media to stay up on speed on all MS Club news and events. Thank you and have a good night.